You are listening to the Disney Dream Girls, an unofficial Disney Theme Parks podcast, and this is show number 377 for Sunday, the 12th of September, 2021.
Where dreams begin.
Well, hello and welcome to this week's Disney Dream Girls. My name is Michelle Young, and together with my jolly good chum Jayne Phipps, we are your guides to the place where dreams begin. Hey up there, Jayne.
Hiya, Michelle. How you doing, love?
I'm doing okay. That was a nice little bit of accenting there, Jayne.
That was a bit of Yorkshire and a bit of Derbyshire combined, wasn't it?
It was, my lovely. Have you had a pleasant week as we are heading back into schools?
Pleasant. Define pleasant. It's been busy, my week. The school bit actually hasn't been too bad, but as I'm having a bit of a bathroom refit at home, it's kind of the home life is probably more chaotic than the work life at the moment.
Okay, that sounds about par for the course at times, doesn't it?
Just a bit, yeah. How about you?
I must admit this week has been a rude awakening to having 6 weeks off and then back at it at 100 mile an hour with people running around the school with X, Y, Z going on, and very, very busy, very thankful to be teaching live in front of a real life class rather than doing it from my little study at home. So that's all good. The old toes of having COVID are still playing on me, I'm afraid. But the good news is there is light at the end of the tunnel. I have been referred on to the long COVID clinic. So hopefully I'll be able to get all my breathing and mobility and other issues connected with long COVID all sorted so I can be back to 100% again.
Yeah, touch wood and all that.
Absolutely. Let's just keep our fingers crossed the good old NHS has a 6-week waiting list rather than a 6-year waiting list.
Shall we move on, Michelle?
Very quickly, because I know a number of our wonderful British friends at the moment are on incredibly long waiting lists. You guys know who you are. We're sending our love and prayers and hoping that you get to the top really, really quickly and you're able to have the surgery or treatment that you need.
Definitely.
And I suppose that's not just a British thing, it's happening across the world because of this word we're not going to mention anymore.
Absolutely, yeah, unfortunately.
So, Jayne, we are busy bunnies and we are going to crack off with a couple of bits of Disney history. What have you got for me, lovely?
Well, I'm going to go back to 1986. I love the 80s. Many fond memories of the 80s. Captain EO. So this is the 3D 70mm sci-fi fantasy musical movie attraction with Mr. Michael Jackson, opened at Epcot. So this was produced by George Lucas. It was directed by Francis Ford Coppola. It was a story of Captain EO, played by Jackson, and his ragtag crew of space travellers. And at 17 minutes, this film cost an estimated $30 million to produce. And at the time, it was the most expensive film ever produced on a per-minute basis. And Epcot was the first Disney park to present the film because it was there first and then it went over to Disneyland 6 days later.
Oh, our good friend Terry Harden worked on that attraction as well.
She did indeed, yeah. Did you ever get to see this, Michelle?
I saw it latterly in Disneyland. I never saw it in Walt Disney World because Tom had always dragged me away when it was there. I believe it was there the first couple of times we visited and he said, nah, it's rubbish, don't bother.
Oh, it's a shame.
Yeah, he did the same with Tower of Terror. I don't like that man at times.
But now you know better, so you know what you're doing. Yeah. And then just another little fact, something that we're now all extremely familiar with, but in 2019, a trial version of Disney Plus became available in the Netherlands with some limited content. Who would have thought? 2 years later, and how would our lives be now without Disney Plus? What we would be doing?
I know, and I just must say I am loving behind the attractions. I'm so glad that they've brought out some extra ones.
Yes, I must admit, we've caught up this last week with those, and Monsters at Work has gone down really well in this household. and we've just watched a few of the little shorts. Is it Doug Days from Doug, the dog from Up?
Oh,
Really cute, very little, very funny. And of course, it's got Ed Asner doing the voice, who's very sadly passed away
oh,
just recently. So it is sort you sit there watching them, only like 5 or 6 minutes, and they are proper shorts, and yeah, and it does make kind of stuck at your heartstrings, but they are lovely. Really enjoying those at the moment as well.
yeah. It just goes to show the legacy that he's left with his talents as well. So
Absolutely, yeah. And there you go, yeah, a couple of little bits for this week's On This Day in History.
super duper. We've had some lovely friends who have been in the parks over the last couple of weeks. I will be catching up with Anthony Markham real soon to find out a little bit about his recent trip, and he's got another one in about a week and a half to go and ride a new attraction over in Epcot, but more about that later. And in the upcoming couple of weeks, our lovely friend Marla Chan will be hopping over to Walt Disney World and sampling the delights over there. So I can't wait to follow along with Marla, because she's very, very generous with her time, and she always likes to share some lives and some photos and things. So she said she'd pop a couple on our family page for everyone else to enjoy as well.
Cool.
Well, if you can't be there, and those that can, share.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah. Okay, well, I've got a few bits of news.
Okay.
Now, over the last week or so in Walt Disney World, the pedestals with the golden statues have been removed. Now, when I say statues, my idea of the statue is something that has been sculpted.
Yes.
Now, originally, I don't think those sculptures that were around there were traditional sculptures, because I think it's a solid core and then they've been sort of coated with, is it brass or some sort of metal?
Yeah.
Well, they were removed, gone, vamoose.
Yeah.
But now what we've got in their place is a myriad of characters scattered around the parks with 50th medallions poised somewhere on their character. And I must just say, the purple wall in Tomorrowland has been zhuzhed up with an awesome little stitch.
Yes, I've only just seen that before we started chatting, Michelle, and I thought, oh, that is so cute.
It is really cute. And the big difference between these statues, as I'm loosely calling them, and the previous ones, they seem super, super shiny.
They're very gold, aren't they? Obviously, to celebrate the 50th anniversary, they're very gold and shiny. But I think the other ones were a bit more bronzy kind of in appearance, weren't they?
Yeah. But you are going to have to look really carefully. Maybe there'll be a future scavenger hunt put out, because like the Adventureland one, Abu is sort of like hidden on the sign.
Oh, right, okay. And I know that they're across the parks as well, aren't they? They're not just in the Magic Kingdom. So, again, it's going to be a scavenger hunt across all four parks.
Yeah. There's one over of our good friend, the Orange Bird.
Nice.
Yeah. Got to look for that one. He's on a nice little bird stand. Looks super cute. But there's Cogsworth and Lumiere over by Be Our Guest, which is nice. And they're on a little pedestal, so they're quite obvious. So they're easier to spot ones. And this Pinocchio, it's a little bit sad to sort of see that Pinocchio's on his own. I'd like his conscience with him.
Yeah, I think that's one thing I'd noticed, that there's like, oh, where's Jiminy? He should be there, but, you know.
We've got Mad Hatter and Cheshire Cat.
Mm-hmm.
So they're always fun to spot over by the teacups. So yeah, if you spot one, share a picture. We'd love to see where you found them.
Yeah, I suppose it's one of those little things you can put on your to-do list. If you're going to Walt Disney World, can you get a photo with all of the 50th anniversary statues?
I've got some Disneyland news.
Oh, what's happening at Disneyland, Michelle?
The Oogie Boogie Bash began on
Boogie.
began on the 9th of September. It's running all the way through to October. Hurry, hurry. Oh, don't hurry, because if you haven't got a ticket, tough luck, it's sold out.
All of it sold out already?
Yeah.
Wowzers.
25 select nights, gone. And when people were trying to buy these tickets, we heard of people waiting 4 hours plus online to get them on multiple devices. I imagine people there with iPads, computers, smartphones, all trying to do it.
It's like a military operation, isn't it, to get these tickets nowadays?
Yeah. The plus point is with the Oogie Boogie Bash is that you're able to get in DCA from 3 p.m. with your little ticket, which is really good. And you don't need a park reservation. You don't need the day ticket. You can get in at 3, which I think is quite generous.
Mm.
There's an actual printed park map given out. I would kill for one. So if anybody is going and would like to pick me one up, mwah, I would love one. Because I'd like to sort of share a bit of the magic, you know. And at the Boogie Bash, you can meet 3 characters that have not been seen before.
Oh, okay. Who are they?
Well, one of them, I'm sure I've met Cruella before. So I don't really understand the biggie on that. But Sid from Toy Story, how amazing is that?
Never heard of having a Sid character before. That's really cool.
I'm so excited to see that because it is, well, if I could see that, I'll have to just bear with it sort of online and put up with the sort of pictures. But that is just an amazing meet and greet. And if you're a character person, oh my word.
Definitely, yeah. Be interested to see how they do that, actually. Yeah, very curious about that.
But even better, Jane.
Mm.
Agatha from WandaVision.
Oh, it was Agatha all along.
No spoilers though, Jayne.
Sorry, no spoiler.
But that's really exciting. Our good friend Tommy Allison is going to be doing some boogie bashing, and I will be having sweet words in his ears to see if he will come on the show and give us his review on what he found when he goes.
Oh, yes, please, Tommy.
But if anyone goes in the meantime and would like to share some pictures of all the delicious food, the characters and the goodies that you can get, please, please, please do.
Yeah, I must admit, I did see some YouTube video footage of DCA and Disneyland with all the Halloween decorations, and it does look amazing.
Absolutely does. And there's a super cute Oogie Boogie sort of spirit jersey. And obviously, if you're going to have a spirit jersey, you're going to have a lounge fly.
Obviously, of course.
Of course. There's all sorts of amazing things. And oh my word, they've got a Mickey Mummy popcorn bucket.
I was just about to say, Michelle, have you seen the Mickey Mummy? Because it's amazing.
I was contacted and asked if I would like one, but I just felt, I'm sorry, as much as I really, really would love one, I just fear the postage cost to send it to me in the country over here from the USA. You're looking at $25-$30 for a bit of plastic, and I just couldn't put, I just couldn't justify it. You've got to sort of say no at some point, haven't you? But I definitely would say yes to the new Disneyland pin for Starbucks. But hey, that's a different story.
Shall we move on, Michelle?
I think we're best before I get myself shot in the foot over this.
You'll have a massive parcel arriving. You'll feel extremely guilty now for talking about it.
I know. Every other podcast that has been ever in existence that talks about Disney has talked about one topic this week, and alas, Jane and I are not able to give you a Walt Disney World opinion on this, but we can give you an opinion because we are very fortunate to have ridden the identical attraction over in Disneyland Paris, because Remy's Ratatouille Adventure has opened for DVC, for annual pass, to go and experience it prior to its big opening date of the 1st of October.
Yeah, I must admit, having watched some video footage again of this that's been released by various different bloggers and YouTubers out there, it's almost identical, I think, Michelle, isn't it?
It is. The main difference I'm seeing is the courtyard area outside immediately the attraction. The one in France is themed one way and the one in Epcot is themed slightly different, but the attraction itself is virtually 99% identical. What do you think, Jane, is the bit that isn't the same?
Well, there's no restaurant at the end of it.
Ding, 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 ding. Give that girl a steak dinner.
Oh, yes, please.
Yeah, we did enjoy the steak there.
We did. It was lovely.
Because as you get off the attraction in Disneyland Paris, over in Walt Disney Studios, you can peer into the restaurant. And the restaurant, we've talked about it numerous times on the show. It's so magical that you go in the door, you check in, and there's a little threshold, and they say, you're now going to be shrunk down to the size of a rat. And then you walk into the restaurant, and it is literally like walking in a scene from the film, because everything is sort of like you are the rat size. You know, you've got huge champagne corks, which, you know, it's just fantastic. And the food, to be honest, is a kind of cuisine I think would fit in very, very well in an American theme park.
Absolutely.
Because it's quite simplistic. It's not overly complicated. It'll appeal to numerous people, but it has something as well for the more adventurous.
Yeah, no, I mean, we had a fantastic meal as far as I'm concerned when we dined there, Michelle. There was enough on the menu that I think would appeal to most people, like you say. It was pretty good value, and the theming, I think, is just amazing. And I like the fact that when you got off the ride, even if you couldn't go in and dine, at least you got a chance to look in the windows and see everybody and see what it looked like. So you got a little vibe for it, and it probably tempted a lot of people then to perhaps go and see if they could get a reservation or a table. So it does look a bit strange when you see the video of Ratatouille over in Epcot, where they come off the ride and it's like, oh, blank wall. You know, and it's like, oh no, there should be windows there to see the restaurant. It doesn't, it felt a bit weird watching it, but yeah.
But I'm putting this out there. At the moment, you've got Chef de France, which is open, but Monsieur Paul's isn't open at the moment. Now, if I was a clever person working for Disney, what I would be working at the moment with Monsieur Paul being closed, it's a very high-end French restaurant. I would be looking at bringing in the flavour of the restaurant you've got over in Paris.
Good idea.
But perhaps bring in some of the elements of the cookery from Monsieur Paul. Maybe have an option to have escargot for your starter as an option, because I do know a lot of people, when I talk to them about food and wine, one of the things they always like to go for is the escargot for some strange bonkers reason.
I think it's just because it's one of those unusual foods, isn't it? It's always like mentioned, but nobody ever gets to actually eat. So I think if it's there, people go, oh, maybe I should try it, because I've never seen it before.
But the level of cuisine that Monsieur Paul offers, you need a certain higher level of chef to be able to prepare it. And maybe that's why it's not open, because of staffing issues. So something that's a little less complex, i.e. steak and frites, you know, nice and simple, a salad, some patisserie, some eclairs and things like that, that would work. And if they're able in that eatery, and I know it's in an awkward position with it being upstairs, to do something that I would, you know, even if it meant closing Chef de France and having a 2-story experience and taking over the whole area, I don't think I would imagine anybody would go home crying, because the food is really well appealing. And it's not like France don't have options for other eateries, because it seems to me it's the country in Epcot that has the most options, because you've got the boulangerie, you have the little wine place, you have the artisan de glace, and now on top of all of that, you can get crepes.
Yeah, and I think, are these doing takeout as well as sit down or something?
Yeah, you've got an option of a quick serve and you've got an option of the table service. Now, I've listened to different podcasters review this, and it was really interesting that they both had polar opposite views.
Oh, okay.
So I think I need someone else to go that I know and know what their food palette is like to see. But basically, if you go for the table service, and it's not fully operational as yet, they have a classic one, which is ham, egg and Swiss cheese. They have a chicken one, which is chicken bechamel cheese sauce with mushrooms. They have a chèvre, which is a goat cheese, spinach and walnuts, which appeals to me so much at the moment. Salmon with smoked salmon, creme fraiche, chives and lemon. They have a ratatouille one.
Obviously.
I'm going to use this word in English, courgette. Now I'm going to speak American. Zucchini.
Look how clever you are, Michelle.
I can speak American. Tomato and eggplant, which aubergine, again, going into English. And then they have a sauvegarde, which is a raclette cheese, onions, and imported Bayonne ham. And I do gather from listening to Len Tester talking about these, and he's eaten there, and he raved about there, that they're actually importing the flour from France to make these as authentically as they can.
Oh.
And they're all the savoury ones. Now, for me, I'm not an overtly massive savoury fan of sweet, of crepes. But the sweet ones, Jane, do start to appeal to me.
Well, I must admit, I'm probably the same as you, Michelle. I always associate crepes with being something sweet. I don't know why. Maybe that's just because of our association with pancakes in this country.
Yeah.
Possibly, but yeah. So what fillings have we got for these then?
Hazelnut chocolate spread with whipped cream. Banana caramel butter sauce. Peach red berries and almonds. Pear chocolate ganache and whipped cream.
Don't like pear.
And caramelised apples with a caramel sauce.
Not bad then.
Yeah. They do offer a set meal choice where you can have a starter of salad. I think there was a soup, and then a choice of a savoury crepe, and then a sweet crepe for your dessert. About $30 I think it was coming up at, so I don't think that was too bad.
Kind of feels weird to have a crepe for your main course and a crepe for your dessert. That's the only thing that's sitting funny with me at the moment.
Yeah, like the kids' grandma made this amazing savoury crepe dessert, and she used the crepes, or as we call them, pancakes, as a different way of cannelloni. So she'd make chicken in a creamy sauce, put it inside wrapped up pancakes, put more of the cheese sauce on, and more cheese on top of it. Oh my word, that was the best dish she ever cooked.
Very homely, very filling and warming, I would imagine.
Very satisfying, very yummy, very Moorish, and I wish she was still with us to make such divine delights for us. Well, not that she'd make them for me, but hey-ho. So that's basically all I've got, Jayne. Have you anything else?
Well, I've got a question for you, Michelle.
Oh, this is where she's going to put me on the spot. Go on then.
I'm sure you will have a very good answer for this, because this is tapping into your knowledge and your experiences. Now, we know that you've just done the Disney cruise over the summer months, and this staycation-y thing that we've had over here. But I also know that you've done other cruises over the years that dare I say, have been companies other than Disney.
Shock horror.
Shock horror. So, obviously, we know that Disney cruises are awfully expensive, and perhaps other cruise lines out there are maybe not so expensive. I just wondered what you thought about Disney's value for money as regards to cruises go, especially as you can compare it to other cruise lines, and therefore you've got an idea of what you're going to get, what the bang for your buck, so to speak, is going to be, whether it's a Disney cruise or a insert name of other cruise.
This is a really difficult question to answer, because what price can you put on magic?
Well, there is that, yes.
You know that feeling when you're walking through the turnstiles at Magic Kingdom. It's the first day of your trip, and you go through the tunnels, you walk around Town Square, and you're walking down Main Street. The music's in your ears, the Dapper Dans come past on their little bicycle, Main Street vehicles are going up and down, the smell from the confectioners hits you of lovely, beautiful caramel goodness, and it just overwhelms you. I personally don't think you can put a price on that. And I think that's what Disney are sort of banking on people like me with the price hikes that we're seeing at the moment. And you are right, the cruise was incredibly expensive. But a lot of places have coined the term revenge travel. When you've not travelled for such a long period of time, the money's been there, it's been waiting for you to go and spend and enjoy. So it's not been as difficult to fund as it would be if I was sort of saving up at the moment for a future one.
Yes, I can understand that, yeah.
So for me, Disney was incredibly expensive. In the holidays, I did also manage to do a cruise with Princess, which is another really big American cruise line, and
Yeah.
they offered a very similar package to like other cruise lines in the UK, where you could do a staycation. Their version was called a seacation, which kind of made more sense because a staycation means you're staying in your garden, whereas a seacation means, well, you're going at sea.
Yeah, quite. Yeah.
So it was the same sort of appeal where you're on a boat, you can't get off the boat, and you're on it for 4 nights.
Right.
Now, I am proposing to do a little bit more of a chat about the Princess Cruise Line for our Patreons, so I'm not really going to go into that much detail, but I will do a little bit of comparison about who did it better, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah.
And that might help answer the question a little bit.
Right. Go on then.
First thing for me, what makes Disney so magical, if you take away the characters, okay, not dealing with characters, is the attentive service from the cast.
Yes,
And
I would agree with all Disney, yeah.
as much as the staff on Princess tried, the level of difference between the two was quite palpable. You know,
Okay, yeah.
we got to the room. We opened the door. We'd literally been in a couple of minutes. We had a knock. It was our stateroom attendant who was wanting to say hello to us. Our cases had arrived. We was able to wheel them in. He came. He set up our room in the morning, got it all cleaned. He came and did a turn-down service. We had towel animals. The room was spotless. He always had a smile for us when we bumped around with him in the corridors. In the dining room, the staff went over and above to suit us. If they noticed we hadn't touched a great deal of a meal, would you like another meal? Would you like us to get something else? Oh, last night you wanted 2 desserts. Is there 2 on the menu you want tonight, or is there 3? They knew what drink you wanted before you even got sat down. And the service level from them was just fantastic.
So how did that compare then?
Well, when we got onto the Princess Cruise, our room host introduced himself, but there was none of the little touches like chocolates on the bed and towel animals and turn down service. He literally got in, cleaned and went. Now that could be because of Princess's COVID protocols being very, very different to Disney's. I don't know. But when we went and ate at restaurants, I just feel there wasn't that level. You know, for example, Tom has a shellfish allergy. And with Disney, you mentioned the word allergy. Whoa, stop, you can't order. I'm getting the chef. And the chef comes out, he talks to you and reassures you of everything on the menu.
Yeah.
Is okay. We paid for one of the upscale restaurants on the Princess Cruise Line, and 4 of the starters all had shellfish.
Wow.
The 5th starter was beef tartare. And for those of you who aren't familiar, that is raw meat.
Which is not everybody's cup of tea.
So Tom basically said, well, there's nothing there that I can basically eat because I don't like raw meat. I always have my steak, you know, medium to well done. So having something raw is not for my palate, and I can't eat any of the others. Well, you would have had a man in Disney cooking you an omelette. You know, he would have sorted something.
Yes, definitely.
But we didn't get that via Princess.
Right, okay.
So it's just that different level. I'm not saying they brought us food and spat in it. It wasn't horrible.
No.
It was good. It was, you know, they brought the food, they took the food away, they were knowledgeable about the food, they were lovely. But it wasn't to the level of Disney.
I was going to say, that's probably the downside, isn't it? When you've done one version and you know what the level of service is going to be like, you're already going in perhaps with an elevated expectation of another company, and that's going to always fall a bit short, isn't it?
Yeah. Now let's flip things over. What did Princess do that smashed Disney?
Oh, okay.
Tech. Okay. Princess Cruise Line have an app where everything is on this app. You are sat in your room and you fancy a burger, ding, 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 on your phone. 15 minutes later, knock, knock, knock on the door. Voila, here's your burger.
Wow.
You can order a drink anywhere on the ship and they will bring you it.
Anywhere?
Anywhere. I found this really funny on the first day because we went into one of the restaurants for lunch and I ordered myself my drink and I wandered off with my phone to go and have a look at all of the food options from, it was their buffet restaurant. And there's this guy walking behind me with my drink, tracking me. Miss Michelle, I have your drink for you. I literally wanted to play hide and seek with these guys just to test how good they are. But I felt a bit bad because I know how busy they were. So, yeah, they have the technology very similar to what you have in Be Our Guest with the Magic Rose or the Magic Band, where they use it called a medallion. And as you walk to your door, I love this bit, the door opens for you and unlocks. Sorry.
Wow.
It doesn't really open, but it unlocks so that you don't have to put a key card to the door or anything. It greets you because there's a little visual display unit by the side as well. And you can tap on that screen to say whether you want the room servicing, whether you want disturbing, anything. I'm laid on my bed. Oh, I could do with a dressing gown and an extra pillow. Ding, ding, ding. Knock, knock, knock. Voila. That was fantastic. It really was. And because of Princess offering a special up-level charge, you can pay $30 a day. And for that $30, you get unlimited Wi-Fi. You pay your gratuities for the day. And you also get the soda package, the up-leveled coffee package, and 15 alcoholic beverages a day that can cost up to $12-13.
Hold on. So for $30 a day, you get 15 alcoholic beverages.
Yeah. It just doesn't make sense, does it?
No, I'm just at a very. I mean, I don't have to do a very quick calculation. That's very obviously a very good deal.
Absolutely, because bear in mind, Disney charge you nearly $100 for like a few measly megabytes of Wi-Fi.
Well, yeah, because I know. I just presumed that, knowing how Disney operate with the lack of Wi-Fi on their ships, that it would have been the same on somebody else's cruise line, assuming it was something to do with the fact that it's a ship.
Yeah. I'm in the middle of the English Channel sailing down off the coast of France and I'm FaceTiming home to check on everybody. It's fantastic. So they absolutely splat them down with the tech. Absolutely. And that was really, really an enhancement of the holiday, because if I was sat on my balcony wanting a frozen mango margarita, as you do, bing, 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 and it turned up. There was a little bit of a snafu at one point where I accidentally got two, but hey-ho, I took one for the team, Jane, and I drank it for you.
Oh, thank you, Michelle. So kind of you.
I know. I just love you. So,
but you think with Disney, and they love the My Disney app and all that type of thing, and obviously with Genie, whatever it's called now, and coming in, all this sort of thing. You would think that Disney would be up on the tech side of things, wouldn't you?
Like, don't get me wrong, it didn't always work 100%, but it was a pretty good basis for them to improve on. And bear in mind that at the moment, Princess are not operating at 100% guest facility, at guest capacity, so they don't have 100% of cast of staff. So some of the staff were like working 15-hour days, and I'm not saying those guys didn't work hard, because boy oh boy, they did work hard. So it would be really interesting when COVID is sort of in decline again to go and visit on Princess again and have a more normal experience.
Yes, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Now, I said I'm taking characters out of it. Let's talk about entertainment.
Okay.
We did not partake in a great deal of the entertainment, I'll be honest, because we just wanted a relaxing time. But on our cruise, there was some singer guy who you'll know, I've no idea who he is, Andy Abrams. He seemingly won a singing competition on the telly thing.
Did he?
He did an amazing show one night, we were told. We had the multiple Olympian, Tessa Sanderson, on board doing a presentation about her life, her Olympic records and things like that. That was amazing to be able to see. We actually watched it in our room because they screened it live to the TV.
Which is a nice touch. You didn't want to be in the position of going into a theatre.
Yeah.
I suppose, especially at the moment, and it means that if you weren't able to get in because the theatre was at capacity, even in normal times, then you could obviously partake. So that's quite a cool
Yeah.
Cool way to do it.
And I did hear that there were lots of other shows that loads of other guests on our cruise were able to go to. And then in upcoming weeks, they've got Lulu on board. Everybody knows Lulu.
Well, true, yeah.
Yeah, so there is good entertainment. It's just not Disney based.
Yeah.
Another thing that made this cruise quite attractive to myself and Tom, being adult travellers, Princess had a rule to say that you had to be double vaccinated. Well, if you're under 18, there's no way you could have got double vaccinated. So there were no children on board. So for me and Tom, it made it feel a very grown-up, a very adult experience.
Which actually is quite nice, in any time, Michelle, particularly for you, with working with children for the rest of the year, it's quite nice. And I could speak for myself as well, to not have to be around children when you're doing it 24/7 the rest of the year.
Absolutely. So would I do Disney again? Yes. Would I do Princess again? Yes. You just can't compare them, because it's like comparing a banana and a grapefruit. I love them both, but for different reasons. If I want my Disney fix to be a kid at heart, yeah, absolutely, I'm going Disney. If I want a more relaxing experience where I can have some decadent alcoholic beverages, because Disney alcoholic beverages are a lot more expensive, I would go with Princess. So we have tried for the last 2 years to go with Disney to Alaska.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. Pricing this up for next summer, Jane, Disney will cost me £8,000. With a bit more extra. Yeah, 8,000 for 2 people for a balcony room. Princess will cost me 4,000.
Oh, you see, that's a big price difference, isn't it? And that's, I think, for me personally, Michelle, this is where it gets into a bit of a sticky wicket, because as great as everything is that Disney can bring to a vacation, they are running the risk of outpricing themselves when the price point can be so massively different.
So all I'm saying is I will be doing my Alaska trip on Princess because I want to go to Alaska and enjoy the parts. However, if I want to go on a cruise and not really care about where I'm going to have my Disney fix, I'll go on Disney.
Yeah, I think that's probably a very wise way of looking at it, Michelle. Are you going on vacation for Disney, or are you going on vacation for the place?
Yeah, because it really seems pointless to me paying all that extra money and not having the Disney entertainment because I'm off on land. I want to be staying on that ship, getting every dime's worth of it. So anyway, if anyone has got any questions for me that they want to find out about cruising with Disney or Princess, and I've even cruised with Royal Caribbean as well in the past, I'm more than happy to chat. Please get in touch with us. You can go on our email, info@disneydreamgirls.com. You can tweet or Instagram. Please share your pictures @DisDreamGirls. You can contact us through our Disney Podcast family page over on Facebook, and we would love to hear from you. You know, you guys make this show happen because you're the energy that drives it forward, because otherwise it's just me and this girl from Derby chatting to each other.
Hey, that's no bad thing, Michelle. We do get on, love.
Well, yeah, true. We could yarn away all night, to be quite honest.
We could, couldn't we? Yeah. I suppose we'd better shut up at some point.
Absolutely shut up at some point. But yeah, we'll continue the conversation, me and thee, off air at some point. But I also want to say a big thank you to our Patreon supporters. We are going to do a little extra special, bit more detail on the old Princess Cruise and some more Disney goodness coming your way very, very soon. And if you want to support us, once you do start supporting at your tier level, you get all past benefits at that tier level as well. So it's a really good deal. There's over 100 shows on there that you can enjoy. Anyway, lovelies, until next week, it's a goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from me.